Sustainability of hospital equipment is a problem for particularly low and low-middle income countries, because the way the hospital equipment industry works is these technologies were actually designed for the developed countries that were originally made. For example, mostly in America and in Europe, Canada, Japan, and these places have a level of development, and your technology was actually built to exploit that level of development. So something like power, in America, you're always assured that the hospital would have a working socket. In the Philippines, if you go outside of Manila or the urban centers, power is actually a problem. Until today, you would have blackouts that affects everybody, and that can break the equipment, that can make it unavailable before you have onboard power from lithium. So these are the kinds of design inputs that engineers and technology makers in the developed world don't actually think about, and they actually sell their products to us. So that's really where I'm coming from. No? How can we make technology, design technology that is fit for purpose here in the country, and that could help improve the way our health system delivers care for Filipinos. No? There are generations of hospital equipment that could have been used for much farther to benefit more Filipinos, but they end up in graveyards in hospitals all across the countries in both the public and private sectors. I have to make a special mention of our collaborator, Dr. Michael De La Paz, who actually braced this problem. He was the one who came to us and said, hey, we have these graveyard of equipment and we can't use the stuff. He's a surgeon in the Provincial Hospital of Oriental Mindoro in Calapan City, and he basically said, we want to ensure that the stuff that we use works. So what happens to the patient? They'll have to transfer outside of Oriental Mindoro. They'd have to go to Batangas, Bataan, Romblon. And even then, in our other studies, some of these other provincial hospital, district hospitals would tell you the same thing. Sorry, we have broken stuff, you have to go to Manila.
In our particular project, we're trying to revive a number of defunct equipment, malfunctioning equipment. These are also equipment that we don't necessarily understand how they work internally in terms of electronics or mechatronics.
The first part is really trying to get the evidence. We know the problem, but what are the dimensions of that problem? How did it happen? Why did it happen? And how can we solve it? And that's the creative part here. Because once you know your constraints, you have to answer your problem with those constraints in mind. And there's a lot of creative solution.
We'll have to interview people from the locations, from like the technicians, the engineers they have, the doctors that use them, to get a better understanding of what's going on with this machine, why did it break, and so we have a better understanding of what the problem is. And then once we understand the problem properly, we can then try to devise solutions on how to repair them. So these solutions, of course, not all solutions would work the first time. So since we have a venue here in Sandbox, we can actually bring the equipment back here in Manila. We can test it out here, and then with the facilities that we can also have access to, like the Maker Lab here, we can try out different solutions to it. It's a lot of about experimenting on what works, and then we test them. How well did it work? We'll check with the end user. How does it feel?
If it doesn't work, you have to rebuild it, dismantle. So it's a back and forth of trial and errors. So I'm expecting there's a lot of that in this project. Also, I hope we can help other people too, especially the doctors, who can get a lot of kind of a new perspective in material science, that they can use it also to get medical stuff to work again. So they can rely on that too, not just purchasing parts from Western countries or other countries.
The capacity here would go a long way in making sure the care that people receive are more responsive to their needs. So this is an essential step to getting there. We're at the very basic level. And that's what we want to do. We want to leverage our expertise to be able to answer this real need by Filipinos to have better access to care.